Okay, so I was doom scrolling and I came across, there was an Ask Reddit that was like, why did you unsubscribe from a channel after years of being subscribed, right? Somebody on Cinemaster of Truth had posted it because in the wild, they saw that there was a reply. The person didn't specifically identify Cinemassacre, but it was very obvious they were talking about Cinemassacre. I think they even said like Sly is aware at the end or something. So it was definitely a match. But then I was like, I'd like to go see the rest of that thread. I looked through it and there were thousands and thousands of replies. It's one of those big threads. And I decided to throw the whole thing through ChatGPT and ask GPT, why do people unsubscribe from videos according to, only source from this data? Tell it, break down the major categories. And so first I want to go through these because, I think I can relate to some and maybe everybody can. And if you have a YouTube channel out there, maybe you can learn something. Maybe we could learn something. And then there's like a few YouTubers I want to kind of talk about a little bit that relate to this too. So it started with outgrowing the content. So this is when you're just not young enough anymore for the thing. Mm-hmm. Many people simply lost interest or moved on from the type of content they once enjoyed. A shift in content. The YouTuber and what you're going to find, there's some contradictions in here. Like he changed too much or he changed too little. There's some of that too.
It's a balance. Although all at the same time, nothing lasts forever, right?
Also, you can't just, and we'll talk about Red Letter Media on that. On that note. The YouTuber changed their style, format, or focus, often in a way that didn't resonate with their audience anymore. This was big. I saw this like all over the replies. Clickbait and over-the-top thumbnails. Misleading titles, exaggerated reactions, unnecessary drama turned viewers away.
Oh, interesting.
So that must mean like at one time you felt as though the content had balanced marketing around it. And then at some point it kind of tipped. I guess maybe, I don't know, maybe like did that side scrollers, did they start out as a little bit more of a neutral podcast and then they kind of leaned into the political stuff? I don't know. But definitely like, I mean, politics is all, we'll see there's more of that. Like politics is all over this. It's like they started being too political or had politics I don't share or, or they weren't political enough. Like they didn't weigh in on the thing I wanted them to. Like,
your silence is noted.
Yes. The silence is deafening. Too many sponsored ads. This is a big one too.
Oh yeah.
And I can relate. I can think of, if I go back far enough, certainly audio podcasts where I'm like, man, half this thing is listening to some like healthy snack ad or.
Oh yeah. Farm fresh meals, healthy snacks, farm fresh meals. You can get farm fresh meals and healthy snacks, farm fresh meals. I heard those things so much that I can't even stand the word meal anymore. You get like delicious meals every day. You're these farm fresh meals, and there's like
meals.
That's all of a sudden I hate that word.
We talked recently about like we would. It's very unlikely we would ever read ads on this show. I mean, just like knowing full well that it destroys the momentum and the rhythm of your content. Like it really hurts the content, I feel like.
Yeah.
You have to kind of care a little bit less about the content in general to read a lot of ads.
Yeah, like the Linus Tech Tips. They always have like, segue into our sponsor in the beginning. And it's always like, okay, I got to fast forward like this amount.
They'll also have to decide if they're going to segue to our sponsor.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, call me James Rolfe, except in the regards to the fact that I don't read ads. But I regard even these podcast clips, we have people who work very hard on editing them stuff. I like for them to be standalone. We can totally stand by them. They're good videos. You'll enjoy watching the video. And if there's an ad in there, I just don't see it.
Yeah, it's the filmmaker in you, I think. It's like these have to be tight.
That's what I'm saying.
To draw their attention.
Scandals and controversies, allegations of criminal activity. God damn.
The completionist.
Yeah, the completion. Yeah, well, he was in there a few times. Dishonesty or problematic behavior, fraud, mistreatment of others, inappropriate conduct. Political or ideological changes, YouTubers becoming too political, controversial, or pushing conspiracy theories. I thought that was an interesting call out, pushing conspiracy theories.
Well, suddenly, space is fake. Space is fake. So, guys, this is the official opinion of Red Cow Arcade is that space is fake.
Space is fake. And fill in the blank. Becoming too corporate or mainstream, losing their personal touch, feeling overly polished, or catering more to mass appeal.
Well, yeah, it's the same thing with like even I don't think like JonTron's that corporate, but he definitely lost something when he's on a set, and it's like very clean. It's not in his like apartment. It's a little bit like weird, and the focus goes in and out.
Yeah, the content and the comedy mean a different thing. They're framed differently when it's a guy who's doing it for a lark in his bedroom. And at some point, a lot of times they're like, did you know that if you send me money, we don't have to do it in my bedroom anymore? And it's like, we want you to do it in your bedroom.
Yeah.
I noticed that. So Ethan Klein's been, captured by drama recently. He's been posting on, the Hassan stuff. But I know he still hosts from like a computer desk. And that dude's like a multi-millionaire at this point. He's got the clothing line, and he's a very rich man. He knows at least like I'm just going to do like a quick camera thing at my computer desk. Sometimes that's the right vibe.
I think so.
Or like my kid, Jesus help us. She's watching SS Sniper Wolf. Mostly she watches SS Sniper Wolf because there's a lot of videos of her roasting. One of my kids' favorite things is a good roasting. Roasting Darman videos. You know Darman?
No.
They're these like extremely cheesy. I really don't know like from what intention they come from, but like they're little sort of parables and fables, little like short films about like tolerance and somebody who got bullied, and it's meant to be kind of like, I guess like after school special type stuff, but made by a YouTuber whose English is a second language, and like the whole thing feels extremely like a little Tommy Wiseau. Like the acting is extraordinarily poor, and it paints the world in a cartoonish way, and so she'll roast them. But at the end, I gotta tell you, EJ, this Darman, he gets like millions and millions and millions of views and subs. So like,
wow.
I think some percentage is laughing at him, and I think some percent, maybe it's like an international audience, and they're like, this communicates.
Maybe.
I don't know, but anyway, she roasts them. And as a Sniper Wolf, like her set is like she's in a bedroom, like a kid's, like a teenager's bedroom or something. She's probably 35 years old at this point.
Yeah,
But,
exactly. Well, my shells still are unpainted, so I think we have a little bit.
Never paint those.
You got to remember your roots.
My shorts are short in my heart. Monetization and paywalls, moving content behind paywalls or shifting to another platform for financial reasons.
Didn't Irate Gamer have some controversy recently with that?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. Irate Gamer, I guess, was like, hey, you sons of bitches, you fuckers. That dude, like, I'll never be able to look at him and not think that he's ADRing his own voice after the fact.
Fuck! I hate this game!
Because in those really early videos, he did that. Because I think James Rolfe did it a few times where the mic wasn't close enough, and so they ADR'd it. Or maybe they wanted, like, the on-camera stuff to match the audio fidelity of the voiceover. Mm-hmm. It's fucking early YouTube terribleness.
In one of the James Rolfe's recent videos, is it where he's like talking about that cave, that famous cave?
Oh yeah.
And he's outside. I think he
Bronson's.
dubbed over himself.
Now, unfortunately, the cave is closed.
When he's outside and like I think his like kid is holding the camera and it's like really shaky.
Yeah.
He feels like he's dubbed over there. I don't know. That's my conspiracy theory.
I think you're right. And I think our conspiracy theory also was that his child shot that shot. But yeah, so I guess Irate Gamer, Chris Bors was like, I think it was, what was it? Like the newest season and all previous seasons, was that it? Will be Patreon members only. And okay, let's figure this out. Chris Bors Patreon, or is it Irate Gamer? Okay, it's Irate Gamer Patreon. $5 a month is your minimum. So you get a better deal here on Red Cow Arcade. And it looks like, he was paywalling new stuff and old stuff.
Yeah, it seemed extreme.
Yeah, all of his impoverished fans were like, you can't do this to us. We're the only ones watching. And he rolled it back. But all I could think was like, YouTube, free ass YouTube isn't that your primary marketing tool for the fact that you make videos in the first place?
The Patreon should be just, extra. If people are super fans, they'll get some. They could deal with some dumpy iPhone video or whatever,
There's a young gentleman on YouTube. I'm not gonna drive traffic to his channel, but he had said something like, "Can Patreon compete with YouTube?" Which is a really kind of like fallacious statement to begin with, because the answer is no. Definitely not. But I think the idea was, I don't really know, but yeah, it was like, maybe if I just had like a few subscribers, that would kind of like get me a little bit more revenue and I could really cater to them instead of trying to build my audience because I have a really small audience. But I know one circumstance where, I'm sure there are others where it worked, but Tell 'em Steve Dave, the podcast by Kevin Smith's friends, they did a free pod and continue to do a free pod every week, one a week. Brian Quinn, the Impractical Joker, he's on there too. So that drove a lot of traffic to the podcast. So the free audio podcast was their primary marketing tool. And then they opened and they had no video content. I think they had a YouTube channel, had like one cell phone video or something. Then they opened up a Patreon, and for I think $10 a month, you got all the video content, and they produce a shitload of video content, like a full-blown YouTube channel, basically, with that's like well produced with nice microphones, nice cameras. There's many different series and shows that they do with different guests, and it's like a whole thing. But like you have to pay $10 a month to get any of it, and then just the free pod was the only way in. And it seems to be working really, really well for them because that free pod is just a really good funnel for like if they get a regular 20,000 listeners or something, then
the free pod is the marketing. So
the point is you need a free media thing that's releasing. Yeah. Maybe he thought like, well, I'm just such a well-known quantity here on YouTube.
Well, the only thing that I can think of that was like successful like that is like Substacks, but that's more like journalism. You subscribe to their Substack and you get their journalism because most like news is trash. So it's like, oh, these are people I trust, so I'll throw them some money. But yeah, I can't see Patreon being like, a YouTube. It's just, it's like, it's additional.
The point is they got to get there somehow. And also my perspective on it is, I wouldn't want my best creative work to be behind a paywall. Like I guess like my features are technically, but I wouldn't, it's certainly my YouTube content. I wouldn't want that. Like I want it to get seen. I want people to watch it,
You want to, establish a community and interact with them.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if you Patreon too quickly, it walls it off
Yeah.
too small. Yeah.
Patreon, I think it's best used to curate a good Discord community.
Yes, exactly.
Personal drama and complaining. We got 5 more of these, or maybe more. Constantly talking about personal struggles instead of the content people originally subscribed for.
Yeah.
So you find yourself, if you're Star Wars theory and you normally talk about Star Wars, now you're talking about, I don't know, testicular cancer. I don't know.
No, well, I think people would tolerate that for a little
probably
bit.
actually.
But I mean, they'd probably be like, "Oh, life sucks." If they were just doing that every time and like complaining about a laundry list of things, yes, that would get pretty annoying.
Well, hey, No Time would be a good example.
Oh yeah.
So anything that's like of the ilk of like my mental health is suffering because of this content I'm providing you. Like I think people are like a little sympathetic to like 1 or 2 of those, and then they start to hear it and they're like, "All right, fucking shut up! Like don't do it."
Like,
She said, "We're sorry, that there's demand." I remember there was one Arlo video, like he's out on a beach in a car, and he was like talking about how I'm burnt out. I am just burnt out. Didn't we? We found out that the puppet was made by some other guy.
do you feel betrayed? Did you think that that man made the puppet?
I for some reason thought it was a requirement, like it was it was a way to connect with the. I thought you had to go into the woods and come back with a puppet.
You had to forge it like over, like with a hammer over a.
It begins.
We have to forge it in the mountain.
Some elder puppet has to like inspect him.
It's like, oh, good.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, good.
You got the hairs from the Gruffalo and put them in the head.
Waka waka. Disappearing and inconsistent uploads. Disappearing uploads.
Woo.
What's that all about? Long breaks with little explanation or repeated promises of a comeback that never happens.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That makes sense.
It definitely does. Like, why subscribe to a channel that's not producing content? However, I think like a channel that's absent is less likely to like call attention to itself and remind me to unsubscribe from it. So
Yeah.
I'd be like, well, it doesn't cost me anything to stay subscribed.
And then when every frame of painting just like comes back out of the blue, you're like, whoa.
Yeah, and I never unsubscribed from him. Overproduction, right? Okay, so that's the other end of it. You're uploading too fucking often. You're up in my ass. too often with the videos.
We got some Goldilocks situation here.
Yes, exactly. You need a third bowl of upload porridge. Overproduction and losing authenticity. Moving away from a casual, relatable format to something overly scripted and commercialized. We've heard this. You're hearing the problem with ChatGPT, by the way. It gets a little redundant at times. It tries to look like it thought of everything uniquely, and then it's a little disorganized. This is big. I saw this all over the thing. Gambling or crypto endorsements. I guess it's kind of like using AI or something. Like the moment that people see a crypto thing, they're fucking out. Promoting NFTs, gambling sites, or questionable financial schemes.
Well, don't worry, guys. I don't understand any of them, so I will never promote them.
Not bloody likely. I'm like not enthusiastic in the slightest about crypto. Like I'm not like educated on it. I don't really, to this day, I don't really quite understand it. It sure seems like it's driving a lot of crime. So I'm not like thrilled about it.
Well, I remember when I worked for the help desk, I remember it was like one of the people who worked there was like, do you want to like mine Bitcoin with me? I wonder if he's like a millionaire now. I don't know. He probably just bought a pizza with it and forgot about it. But
on the other hand, I'm like, the fact that people are so averted to it, like that extreme aversion, makes me like a little bit like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Because the AI thing, I think they're overreacting. I strongly believe they're overreacting.
Yeah, I mean, whenever we use like AI, it's people overreact completely.
Settle the fuck down, people. Okay. Now we're gonna get into lady YouTube. When I was reading these to Nina, she resonated with this one. Family vlogs and lifestyle shifts. Channels that once focused on a specific niche, like running or unboxings of clothing, but transitioned into family content, baby updates, or vlogging. You hear this all. They're like, as soon as she had a baby, it was all about her fucking baby.
Fucking idiot.
Settle down, ladies. Repetitive and stale content. You're doing the same shit over and over again. Samey. No innovation, no fresh ideas. I'd say like once a year, you should like take some time out of your schedule, at least once a year, to be like, hey, what are we like doing with this channel next year? What are we doing like that makes how are we going to separate ourselves from what we did before without completely changing what we're doing? Like this year, like, doing like the Kikassia video, hats off, like some of the guests, Confused Matthew, like to me, that's kind of like changing it up or doing longer videos with multiple editors. Like that's like a kind of a different, like a format change.
Oh yeah. I love the Kikassia video. So we should definitely watch more of those.
We'll do them all. Well, I want to do all the Kikassias. Oh yeah. So so we'll get to the end and I'll give you my final thoughts. This is the final one. Dumbing down content, simplifying or sensationalizing topics to appeal to a broader, often younger audience. I don't really relate to that one. I can't remember a time where my favorite YouTuber suddenly was like talking at a third grade reading level or something, but
no, I can't think of an example.
Red Letter Media put up a new Half in the Bag, and it was about like the new Steven Soderbergh movie, and it was about movie theaters and their current state, and they're very anti movie theater because I guess Mike has like a hypersensitivity to eating or something, like to other people
or
eating.
something. Or like Milwaukee has awful movie theaters that are like full of like raucous jerks or something. Every time I go to the movie theater, it's like there's one other sad dad in there. Maybe I'll turn to him and we'll both like nod at each other, and then we're dead silent through the whole thing. It's empty because it's the movie theater. Like nobody goes to the fucking. Movie theater.
You're Michael Caine and Christian Bale at the end of Dark Knight Rises. But anyway, so I thought it was an interesting video. I didn't agree with everything they were saying as per usual, but that's not a prerequisite for enjoying a video. But I got to tell you, I've been skipping a lot of Red Letter Media. I used to be I still consider myself a big fan. I like these guys, but I wonder if there's anybody out there who's feeling the same way. That's feeling like talking about samey. I'm like, okay, I can pretty much guess how you feel about Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, best of the worst. Like I used to watch some of those, but it's just like I can't even like do any of it.
I can't like they're too long, and you're going back and forth between different movies, and I haven't seen these movies, and I find that's a big problem with the Half in the Bags too. Like a movie review show is really challenging at this point because with the current state of movies, with like the content dump that is streaming and whatever the fuck is coming out in movie theaters nowadays, you're very likely to either be reviewing a bad movie, a divisive movie, or a movie nobody's seen. Mm-hmm. It's one of those three, probably, like very likely. Whereas at one time it would have been like, I might go to the cinema this weekend and go see that film. I'll watch their review. Or I definitely saw it and I will watch their review because I'd like to see their thoughts. For me, I actually don't want to watch it if I haven't seen the movie. I only really am interested in their insights if it's something that I can like compare against my own.
Weirdly, I will watch their Star Trek ones because they're so passionate about that. Like the passion kind of feeds into it. Everything else, it feels pretty low energy and like it feels like they've been pulling their punches too, which I think is a part of it. I
don't want to admit that their acolyte situation may have had something to do with my disillusionment. The extent to which they fence road on that for such a piece of shit show. Like there's no, like you got to be fucking crazy.
They immediately canceled it for a reason.
But those guys knew that's a shitty show. Okay, like. Either that or they've like lost, one thing that's happening is people are losing their calibration. What is good? Have I ever liked anything? Or you'll watch something and be like, it didn't really resonate with me or it wasn't very good. It was kind of boring. It was kind of, whatever. And people will start like arguing with you like point for point. You're like, well, no, I thought he had motivation and it was shot nicely.
Or you see the social media reaction. It's like, they're very enthusiastic. Am I missing something?
Yeah. Youth.
or is it just a dead internet theory and it's just bots paid for by Disney or something?
I think that's probably it has a lot to do with it is as we get older, as the RLM guys get older too. One, some people say you become more cynical or you become more jaded or whatever as you get older. Hopefully that's not the case. It's definitely not something I want to be. Those guys, their nihilism and their sardonic insights, that's like what they're best known for. It's when they're their funniest, I guess. But I think like there's less of an appetite for that kind of comedy than ever. But one thing that happens is you've seen a million movies and you know all the tricks and you're like just very little of it is novel anymore. And things don't feel as real anymore. Things just don't feel as authentic anymore somehow because you've seen it before. Like you play a video game and you're like, oh yeah, I know what they're gonna like. I actually know how they designed this because I've played a lot of other video games. Whereas you watch like a child do it and it's really exciting. They don't know what the fuck is going on in this video game, But you can just kind of follow along like, oh yeah, and then now they want me to collect stuff. Why am I collecting stuff?
Yeah, that's kind of the fun thing about having kids is you see it through their eyes. So you get a little bit of spark of enjoyment because they're figuring it out for the first time.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So yeah, I don't, the question is like, could RLM do anything at this point I'm very unlikely to ever unsubscribe from them.
No.
I guess I want to feel like they're a little more human.
I think of them, Rich Evans is obviously the most human.
Yeah, for sure. He's presenting the most authentic version of himself. But I'm kind of done with like the 1,000-mile stare with the empty bottle of beer, throwing the beer at a cat.
Wow. They have to add in that sound effect, of course, or something similar.
Daredevil's the new show from Marvel. Have you seen it yet? Of course you have. Yeah, okay. I just, and yet, I'm the guy who watches Sega Lord. I don't miss the Sega Lord X. The most sing-songy, brain-dead fucking content on YouTube.
Yeah, it's definitely auto-generated.
Yeah. This dude understood AI before AI was invented. I'm going to be way ahead of the game. I'm going to auto-generate myself and have a good time doing it, too. Okay, so that's that.
He's bringing Mickey and Donald to boot.
Goofy's on his new adventure on the 16-bit platform, and he's bringing all his friends, such as Minnie and Donald, to boot. Personally, I thought this game sucked ass. Like sometimes you sell the game pretty hard. I'll circle back and be like, it sucked, actually. There's a guy on YouTube I've discovered. Have you seen this dude? He's, I don't remember his channel's name, but he does a show called The Angry Reviewer. Have you seen this?
I've seen people posting on our Discord, but I haven't clicked it.
It's very funny. So, it's a chubby young guy. Yeah, McAuliffe Media. And, everything he's doing is parodying Doug Walker and all of our favorite YouTubers. Every Angry Reviewer storyline skit And so, he made like a fake 1 minute long, like, here's all the skits from my fake fucking show. He's got an angry reviewer opening where he's in front of green screen fire and he's firing a gun, and and he's in a trench coat and a dumb hat and a loose fitting tie. It's mostly Doug Walker, but there's like a mid-act part of the movie where he's in despair and the little cartoon mascot like talks him back into it, and it's like weirdly sad, and he's like,
your words that I wrote for you are very wise.
It's great. I highly recommend. I
gotta check that out.
The Angry Reviewer, dude's funny, and he, you know what, he's been going with it for a long time. I see it's like 3 or 4 years of this shit that he's been doing this. Like 8 months ago, an important update on the Angry Reviewer movie. Every Angry Reviewer crossover, it's 42 seconds long.
Oh God!
The Angry Reviewer versus a copycat reviewer. He has the crossovers where he's talking to the camera. It's. And I showed it to Nina, and she was like, "This is too accurate. Like it's almost." I'm almost
not a parody
because it's such a good parody.
Subscribe to Red Cow Entertainment on Patreon for full episodes every other week.